Mustang Coaches Show. I am your host, voice of the Broncos, Kerry Shuck, with the head coach of the Mustang Broncos, Lee Blankenship. Coach, how are you?
Great, man. Great to be back this week.
Good. It's been a really good last few weeks.
The shows are always easier when you can get a win the weekend before. So, feeling good about it right now.
And being the host, whenever you see a score come in, especially if it's on the road, if you're not up in the booth or anything, you're thinking to yourself like, oh, how's this week going to be?
Yep.
And then when I was just going through and was watching, oh, it's going to be a good week. I'm excited about it. So,
got a lot to talk about this week for sure.
Going on the road, good team at Edmond North. A pretty good sized win, 49-21. Just talk about the goods and the bads that happened.
Oh man, I guess I need to start with Hayden Conrad this week. Hayden played an outstanding game. He threw for 264 yards. He had 9 different receivers with receptions on the night. So really great night for him. Was thrilled to death for him. We've talked a lot about him over the course of the year. He's had some great games, but he hasn't just had that statistical game where he's just blowing the stat book out of the water, and he was able to have that this week. So played a great game. Had several touchdown throws. Really just threw the ball all over the field, and again used a ton of different receivers. So had a great night. I was thrilled for him. And the other group I've got to mention is just those guys in front of him, man. The offensive line, they have really cleaned up some things over the course of the last several weeks. Have done a great job of just playing their assignment football, taking care of the ball, not having excessive penalties, and it's really been good for us. I mean, that is a major reason that we've been able to enjoy our interviews the last several weeks. So yeah.
Well, one good thing about Hayden as these weeks have gone by, and it kind of seemed with a really good offensive line and some really good running backs behind, he just had to be a little bit of a game manager, and not really have to do a whole lot. But then you've seen the last few weeks that he's extended out of that box a little bit, and he's able to do more things.
Yeah, he is starting to establish himself not just as a quarterback that does the little things right and manages the game, but as a quarterback that's dangerous back there. And we're really excited for him for that, and that just makes our overall offense run even at an even faster pace and at a higher level. So so far so good, man. I'm excited for him. He and I meet every Monday. He's got a couple of college classes. He has a little break in between. So he and I just got done going over the install and the game plan for this Friday, and he has really put in a ton of extra work and extra effort. A lot of people don't see that. They see Friday night, but they don't see what happens between Saturday and Thursday or in that time frame.
Yeah.
And that's a young man whose work ethic is second to none. Man, he just prepares so hard. He's so intelligent and he understands the game of football, and that's because he studies it the way that he does. And it was just awesome to see him have a breakout game on Friday.
Well, that was one of the things Thursday, yeah. And that was one of the things I wanted to bring up. You always hear about college football, pro football. After a game's over, Tom Brady's in the film room. Tom Brady's doing this. He's looking at his next opponent. You don't really think about that at the high school level. What are kind of the things that you, as coaches, implement to the quarterbacks, the running backs, about game film and
it's hours and hours and hours of film on their own. There's a program that we use called Huddle, and so the kids they literally have access to all of our game film, our opponent's scout film on their cell phones. They can watch it on their computers, but the coaches can go in and track and see how many hours of film each week that the players are getting. And Hayden is always one of our leaders in that, and we have a lot of guys that really study film. I mean, that's honestly expected and demanded from our coaching staff for our players. But and then other than their individual film time that they log, we watch film and have meetings every day, at least 45 minutes of film before every practice. And then the next day after practice, we'll watch our own practice film to see the corrections we need to make, and just to try to help give our kids every advantage that we can to be successful on Friday night.
Do you see, as a former player and coming up, how technology has kind of changed the way it seems like it's, like you said, you can have your cell phone. You could be walking down the halls and think, well, I want to look at something. It's just kind of changed the
question.
game.
There's no excuses to not be prepared on Friday night anymore. It really has changed the game. Through Huddle, we can actually, as a coaching staff, we don't have to drive and trade a DVD or a VHS anymore. We can just trade online, where we stick our game tape up into that program and we hit trade, and it trades it with our opponents, and then we get their copy without ever leaving the office. So it saves us a lot of time, and yeah, technology has definitely changed the game. Even a lot of people might wonder what the TVs are on our sideline on Friday night. So we set up the 2 big screen TVs right there on our sideline, talking about technology, and we have a program that, as the game is being recorded, as soon as that play has been recorded, it shoots it over to an iPad, which pops it up on those TVs. So when the offense comes off the field and the defense is on, the offensive players are sitting in front of those TVs, and the offensive coaches are able to make in-game adjustments and corrections right there off of film, and then vice versa. The offense goes out and executes, and then the defense comes over, and the defense coaches are able to sit there at the TVs and make real-time in-game adjustments. You don't have to wait until halftime anymore to make corrections or to try to show the kids on the board the look that they're getting. It's right there in front of them on film. So technology has definitely changed the game. I think it's just going to continue to do that in the future as well.
Yeah, they'll find something else. I remember just a few years ago watching an NBA game, and I think it was Blake Griffin went out of the game, and they immediately handed him an iPad and started going over everything, and I thought, man, you used to just sit there and get water. Now you got to study, on your timeouts.
That's exactly right.
Well, let's talk about the defense, because the last few weeks, the offense, I think for almost the whole year, the offense has really been clicking.
Sure.
Really, really done well, and I think the defense has done well too. But this game, holding an Edmond North team to 21 points on the road, I mean, still another valiant effort.
Edmond North is a team that wants to throw the football first, and then they run second. And there's not a lot of teams that we face like that. Our secondary did a great job of just containing that. And then our guys up front, we really set in a pretty basic defensive look all night long. We didn't run a lot of exotic blitzes. Coach Dollar likes to bring those blitzes now, and I know it was hard on him, but we kind of set in our base front, let our defensive line provide the pass rush, which we play with four down linemen, and they have 5 offensive linemen, so it was 5-on-4 all night long. Our D line really did a good job of providing some pressures on the quarterback and forcing him to throw the ball maybe before he was ready. And then you got to give our secondary a lot of credit as well for just covering up the receivers, and the throws that he did complete were all contested throws and great catches by their receivers and really good coverage by our guys as well. And then they at the end of the night they had a lot more incompletions than they had completions. So that speaks really highly. Coach Gaines, Coach Ware, our 2 secondary coaches do a great job of just preparing those kids and getting them ready to play every week. But then at the end of the day, it's the kids that go out and are the ones that make the plays. So they did a great job of that.
Well, I wanted to ask with Coach Dollar, you said he wants to dial up those blitzes and everything. Now, as the defense kind of getting that mindset, do they kind of want to do some more blitzes and they want to be more aggressive, or are they good with being able to just kind of going back a little bit?
Listen, aggressive defense is fun. It's fun to call, it's fun to coach, and it's fun to play in. So yeah, our kids have definitely bought into the Dollar defense and his style of play. And again, it's not very hard, just to grasp the concept, and it's hit hard and get the ball back, coach. And those are things, again, that they say every week, and Coach Dollar expects of them. So they love to they love to bring pressure. Those linebackers, when he calls those certain blitzes, they get their ears pinned back, and there's a glimmer in their eye. They're excited to do that. But more than anything, it's really not about what we like to do or what we love to do as a player. It's about doing our job. Yeah. And our kids have done just a phenomenal job. I'm honest. I'm so thankful for our kids and their willingness to just give our coaching staff, which many of which are first year coaches here at Mustang, and our kids have just bought in and embraced the newness and their coaches, and just really have believed and trusted in us to put them in situations to be successful. And I'm thankful for that. That doesn't happen all the time when new coaching staffs come in, and our kids have really done a great job and really honored us by the way that they've bought into what we're trying to do. So our more than loving to blitz, which they do, our kids love to play football and to be successful and do a great job of trusting their coaches to put them in the right situation to do that.
Oh, they've definitely shown it all year long that they are buying into each side of the ball and the system and everything. Well, let's talk about some of the best plays from the game against Edmond North. What did you see? I mean, Hayden had a great game. Talk about some of the things that happened.
Yeah, man, Hayden had a great game. I'm trying to think back. There were a lot of great plays, and Hayden played lights out. I mean, it's got to start with him. You had Harvey Phillips going over 100 yards rushing again. He is on track to be a 1,000-yard rusher. Kari Brown, again, he's actually on track to be near 1,000 yards in the rushing category as well. So if we could finish the season with two 1,000-yard rushers, that would be really a special season. And those guys are getting close to that. They've got to continue to just play hard and make plays every week. There's still several games left, and then hopefully an opportunity in the playoffs to get that done. But they're on track to do that. Jordan McFadden had 2 touchdowns in the game on Friday night. He had he caught a touchdown pass and then ran a little jet sweep around the right edge and got in for a touchdown. So he had a really, really good night. Man, it's hard to just pinpoint when you have so many guys that are doing good things and doing their job. So it's a good time to be a Mustang Bronco right now.
I'm glad you mentioned Jordan McFadden. I think we don't get to say his name as much. He's been making some really good routes, and you have him coming out of the backfield and everything. He's real quick, good hands, and he's getting to spots where Hayden can find him.
Absolutely. McFadden, the reason for that is that he can fly, man. Yeah. McFadden is one of the fastest kids on our team. He runs really, really crisp, good routes. He does, like you said, he gets himself open on Friday night a lot. And then when the ball's in his hand, he's tough to tackle. He's kind of a jitterbug. He can make a guy miss and then turn on the speed and outrun guys at the same time. So he's actually had some really good last several weeks, some really big plays for us and good games.
Yeah, a lot of the players played good, but he's one of the ones I wanted to mention because I've seen him do that. Outstanding athlete, I think we've talked about Hayden. Harvey's going to go over 1,000. What are some of the struggles? It seemed like the last few weeks, I think a few weeks ago, offensive line with holding penalties and personal fouls, but that's kind of gone away a little bit. So are there anything else you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, penalties are, every coach's biggest frustration. Yeah. We had a few penalties on the defensive side on Friday night that extended drives and actually led to 2 of their touchdowns. So, we just playing cleaner. We've got to adjust to every officiating crew is a little bit different. Our kids have got to do a great job and just continue to get better at adjusting to the pace of the game and the way that they're calling the game. It's okay. Some of those penalties are great effort plays, but it's okay to make them once. It's not okay to make them twice. Is kind of our message to them. You got to learn from the first one, especially on the effort. A lot of holds are effort plays. Those offensive linemen or even the defensive backs, they're just working so hard. Grab a hold of a guy a little bit early, that type of deal, just because they're so intent and they're so driven to not let their teammates down, to do their 1/11th. So when one of those things happens, it's more about for us just learning from it, understanding that they are going to call that, and then not letting it happen 2 or 3 times. That's big for us.
Yeah, and like you said with the fishing, it's sometimes tough because you may be on the offensive side getting a hand on your jersey or something like that. It's a little bit of a hold, so they kind of let some stuff go, and then some just that's clearly a hold. So.
And listen, that's we've had great officiating throughout the course of the season, but that's just kind of human nature. Some guys tend to let them go a little bit more, let them play a little bit more, and that's at every level as well. And then some crews are really tight and are going to call that every time. So again, it's just adjusting to the game.
It's especially with because I've known some officials that have officiated some sports when they used to play football, and especially if they were in the trenches and used to play. Yeah, you get a little hint like, man, hold. I ain't gonna call that. And then some people are like, hey, I used to be a quarterback. That's definitely
there. You go. You know what I mean? Those sissy quarterbacks all the time calling those holding calls, man. What's up with that?
Well, so let's go ahead and move on to Owasso. Let's go take our first break, and we're going to come back after this. Talk about Owasso. Big game coming up here on Friday night. Undefeated Owasso. So we're going to take our first break, and on the break, this week in sports, Mustang sports. Come back after the break, and we're going to talk Owasso football.
Chevrolet. If you wanna rock a Chevy, got 500 new and used, like Camaro, Silverado, Chevy, Malibu, and Cruise. Bad credit, you can still buy. 50 lenders standing by. Hit up that Smickler Chevy app and search right from your phone, or head to Northwest Expressway and County Line Road. Get low prices every day at Smickler Chevrolet. SmicklerChevrolet.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Mustang Coaches Show. Kerry Shuck, voice of the Broncos, head coach Lee Blankenship of the Mustang Broncos. Coach, big one coming up here Friday.
Yeah.
First off, we need to make sure everybody gets out of their homes. I don't know. I know it was a little cold the last game, but it's supposed to be 59 degrees. That's perfect football weather.
Perfect football weather on Friday night, for sure.
And a big opponent coming here, 7-0. I believe they're 4-0 in district. A tough team in Owasso.
Yeah. Really well coached team. A little biased. Grew up watching Bill Blankenship, who is their head football coach there at Owasso, and honestly, just thinking how cool it would be to be like him and be in his shoes, and it'll be a special experience for me to be able to coach against him this week. But no, let's talk about their kids, man. Their coaching staff does a phenomenal job of putting their players in great situations to be successful. We've seen that all year, and then they've got some dynamic players on their team. So we've got our hands full this week and our work cut out for us. But our kids are really excited for the opportunity. We're a good football team as well, and our kids believe that, and I believe that. So we're looking forward to playing one of the best teams in the state and seeing how we match up against them.
And as a coach and as a player, when you get to this point of the schedule, you want that opportunity to where you can say, like, this could be for a district championship. This could be for home field advantage. And it seems like the players, as the year has gone on, the confidence is like, we might be Mustang, but we beat a Union. We want to be in this place.
I'll do one even better than that. I think that our kids at this point in the season are going, hey, we are Mustang, and we're a good football program, and we're going to set that foundation to become one of the premier football programs in the state of Oklahoma. I really believe that our kids, that's their mindset going into every game. So yeah, man, we're really fired up to go play, and I know our kids are going to come out and play hard.
We talked about a little bit off camera, but defensively they're really good. Offensively they're really good. What are you looking for from them, and what your team is going to do against them?
Yeah, well, I'm looking for aggressive defense. I think their defense is one of the strengths of their program. They do such a great job of putting their kids in situations to be successful. They're really good up front. They've got an excellent secondary as well, and then I think it's the best linebacking core that we've seen this season. So I mean, they're solid in every area. We're going to have to play some clean football. We're going to have to play tough football, hard-nosed football to be able to establish a run and then also take some shots down the field and to win the football game. So we'll see what happens defensively. Listen, they've got one of the best running backs in the country, the Jacobs kid, number 3. You'll see him throughout the game, I'm sure. And then they've got a great quarterback and a good receiving core. So, I mean, it is in games like this, when you're playing excellent opponents, you've got to be excellent in every phase. Offense, defense, special teams. It's about our kids. And again, we're not focusing on what Owasso is or who their players are, or if their kids are going to play college football, what the last name of their coach is. Those are things that as a coaching staff, we're really trying hard to not focus on or let our kids focus on, because it's not about those things. Those things don't win the game. It's about me as a player doing my 1/11th, doing my job, being the very best that I can be on every single play, and that's a simple strategy. It's a lot easier said than it is done, especially when you're getting into a big game and there's a lot of hype about it. But that is our message to our kids: do your 1/11th, focus on being the best you that you can be, and listen. When you got 11 guys doing their job, playing with great attitude, playing with exceptional effort, you can beat anybody, and we believe that. We've seen that already this year, and that's how we're going to try to approach the game. I will say this: it is special to be going into Week 8. It's special for our kids. It's special for our coaches, and still, all the way this late in the season, having an opportunity to really, pave your own road. We've got we could literally be first, second, third, fourth, or out, or out of the playoffs, depending on what happens over the course of the next 3 weeks, and obviously on Friday night as well. So that's an awesome place to be in. Our kids understand that, and hopefully we're gonna put a great product out there on Friday night.
Well, no doubt that, and just being someone that is seeing it from a distance. I mean, you see them every day. You're around them every day. It just looks like this team is just clicking on all cylinders, and there's no, me, I need to get my yards or anything. It's everybody is a part of this. And it gets you to this point of the year that you're looking for, at a district championship. You're looking for a playoff run.
No question. We tell our kids that every day. It's not about me. Mm-hmm. It's about the Mustang Broncos. And I was actually able to send out a tweet about one of my good friends who does an awesome job of trying to promote our program, and Chris Tobler. I think he put out a tweet, Blankenship Bowl, and it was Bill, and he was really making a reference to just because Chris is from Spiro as well, which is our hometown. This is Bill Coach Blankenship at Owasso's hometown, and so it was more of kind of a, this is really cool for the community of Spiro for this matchup to be happening. But I quickly responded, and mainly just to show our kids that I really believe what I say I believe, and the message that we preach to them every single day, it applies to me as well. It's not about me. Yeah. It's about Mustang, and it's about the Mustang Broncos, and it's about our team. So that is something that's really special. Our kids are bought into that so much, man. We could have thrown to one guy and had one receiver with 200 yards, receiving the other night, but instead we threw to 9 guys, and all 9 of those guys were just as excited for their teammate as they were for themselves when the balls were caught out of the air. So that's a special thing. It's one of our core values: love others as much as you love yourself. We talked about I've talked on the show a lot throughout the course of the year. We want to be 10% better this week. We just want to continually see an improvement in our players and in our program as the season goes on, and I'm really proud that we're seeing that.
Well, I'm excited about this game. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm just doing this as the 3rd season that I've been the voice of the Broncos, and every game has been exciting, and then coming into this year, it's kind of like a 180, and I'm really excited to see how the kids respond, and the coaching staff and everything, because this is what Mustang wants, is these big games here on Friday night.
Yep, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope to see our community out and loud and proud, and come support us, and should be a lot of fun.
Exactly. And Wednesday night, Mazzios.
Wednesday night, Mazzios. Yes, sir. Trying to think if there's anything else this week. There's always Bronco Alley, which will be really cool this week. So bring your kids out to that. That's something my little boys look forward to every week. They've got the blow up, bounce around house, and a lot of fun activities for the kids. So bring the family and come out and support the Broncos on Friday night. It's going to be a good game. Yep,
everybody out 7 o'clock. Actually, be out by 5 o'clock at the Bronco Alley and get your seats. Get ready, because I think this is going to be packed, and I think there's going to be a lot of noise. We'll make sure that happens.
Sounds good.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. Good luck to you, Coach. Good luck to the Mustang Broncos, and everybody get out here Friday night for your Mustang against Owasso. We'll see you next week, and we'll talk about the next game on the schedule.
Go Broncos.